this game. That's when I end up understanding the difference between what people want and what people got to have. See, you don't have in your life right now what you want. You have what you decided I got to have. So Tracy and I have been married it's been 23 years. Hasn't been all peaches and creams. But we made a decision to say we got to have a good marriage, not a perfect one, but one that we stay together, we work together, because it's not just about our current generation. See, what you don't realize, you have the ability to impact up to 7 generations. And I'll never forget when we upset the Dallas Cowboys, I brought the whole team together. And Vince, you know what I told him? I brought him up, the whole team, like you do, Ray, before you did it. I said, guys, we got to have this game. We got to have this game. You're talking about a guy that walked on at Southern University a week before the season started his junior year in college. 1AA. You're not talking about a perennial guy. This is a different story here. I'll do a movie called The Walk On. Because I became very intentional when Ben mentioned begin with the end in mind. You know what he was talking about? When I walked on, in my crazy mind, I decided what type of cornerback I wanted to be. So I was in the college, so I identified in the pros, who did I want to model my game after? So it was 2 guys because it was not one corner. I wanted to be what's called, Ray, a complete corner. I wanted to be able to hit you because mama said knock you out. And I wanted to be able to cover you. So the cornerback that was the hardest hitter was Ronnie Lott. Many don't know, before he went to safety, he played cornerback. The 5'10" guy who bump and run, who I liked the most, was a guy named Frank Minifield, Cleveland Browns. So you know what I did on Southern's campus, Ray? I did something crazy that my teammates laughed at me, called me crazy. I had this shirt spray painted on the back, Mini Lott. I was walking around Southern University's campus with the name Mini Lott on my back. Y'all know what I was doing? I was beginning with the end in mind. So you know when I wear this Hall of Fame ring, thanks be to God, you know what fans come up and tell me? You know what they say? You were a complete corner. It was intentional. And only what you do intentionally is what's going to happen in your life.
And it was one thing that I never, as a child, not having my father around, the one thing I never could actually do was stop a man from hitting my mom. It's the one thing I couldn't do. Until one day I found a deck of cards. I asked my mom to bring me a deck of cards, and I said, Mom, I want a deck of cards. And she was like, I don't gamble in my house. I said, Mom, I don't want them for gambling. I don't want it for gambling. But I can't tell you what they're for. And my mom came in one day, I'll never forget it. Her eyes were so bloodshot, and she was beat up real bad. And I went to my bedroom, and I took these cards. And I flipped the 6, I flipped the 7, I flipped the Jack, Queen, and King, which is 10. I flipped the Ace, which is 25. I flipped the Joker, which is 50. And I repeated it. And I got through that deck. If I did push-ups first, I did sit-ups next. After I got done, I reshuffled them. I did it all over again until I literally passed out. Because the only reason I introduced these cards to my life was I made sure that a man would never touch my mom ever again. So these cards, so these cards taught me a lot. They taught me, honestly, that you can actually dictate your own pain. You can create your own pain. And then you can find a way through your pain. And the moment that I started feeling knots in my stomach, I started feeling the cramps in my stomach, and I'm asking myself, should I stop now? And the question I kept asking myself is why? Why would I stop? Because what she's going through, she can never explain to me why she's in these situations and why people continue to do what they do. So that's why I continue to do what I do and did what I did. And realized once I got to a pain that was so excruciating, I said, man, I can find myself with anything in life. Because it really ain't about what you're going through. It's actually your mindset while you're going through it. Because if you can change your thought process while dealing with pain, I promise you on the other side of pain is glory. That's the only thing to look for.
But I wanted to actually start with a story tonight. And it's a story that made me think about this word legacy. Because when I think of the word legacy, I think of these two gentlemen, these two legends. And the story that I wanted to share with you takes us back to 1936. And I think this paints a picture of the importance of legacy. 1936, right at the beginning of the Nazi regime. And there was this old shoemaker. His name was Wolf. He was a master shoemaker. And Wolf was married to his wife Sophie, and they had 4 children: Max, Kurt, Gertie, and Mita. Every day, Wolf would leave his house knowing that one of the walls that they shared their apartment with was occupied by a woman whose son was a Nazi. This was right at the beginning of the Nazi regime. Can you imagine every single day leaving your home knowing that your neighbor didn't want you on the face of the earth? And that was how they lived every single day. Max and Kurt would watch their father leave to go every day to his shoe stand. And all he wanted to do was find a way to get his family out of harm's way. He ended up finding out that there was a ship that would take the family from Rüsselsheim all the way to Ellis Island, where their feet could hit the soil of freedom. So Wolf made arrangements for his family to get on this ship to come to the United States. And the closer they got to the departure date for this ship, Wolf ended up finding out that the family was not allowed to bring any currency on this ship. Can you imagine? You're going to start your life all over again across the world, and you're not allowed to go with any money. One day, Wolf shows up to his shoe stand, and he sits down, and this was a man of conviction. This was a man of vision. This was a man of purpose. And he held up a shoe, and he starts staring at the shoe, and he said to himself, what if? What if I could make shoes that had hollow soles? And I could make shoes with hollow soles for each member of my family and stuff each shoe with 1895 German 20-mark gold pieces. And when they came to the United States and their feet hit that soil of freedom on Ellis Island, I would give the directive to my family that they would bust open the soles of those shoes and they would sell that gold for money. Those are exactly the instructions that he followed through with, from his mind to the work with those shoes. He made those shoes. He put his family on the boat. That family came over to the United States. Their feet hit the soil of freedom. And just as Wolf had told his wife and his 4 children, they busted open those shoes and they took the gold coins and they sold the gold coins for money. So that the Newman family, my family, could get their start in the United States. My father wears the last gold coin around his neck. He hasn't taken it off his neck in 45 years. The gold coin that my father wears around his neck is the symbolism to our family of the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the lives that were lost in the Holocaust so that our family could get our start here.
Live the life now.
Right now.
See, all you got is today. You can't. What I call forgiveness is giving up the hope for a better past. See, the mere fact that you're here is already implied by God that He's not finished. And so many times we get stuck or we get detoured or discouraged because of the decisions we made wrong. You can't do anything about that. That's dry cement. Anybody grew up in a certain neighborhood where you saw the cement guy laying the cement? And you were kind of hanging around. You didn't let them see you. And you were just waiting till they leave, but you had a window of time, am I right? To do what?
Step in the cement.
Step in there and do what?
Draw something,
right? But you had a certain amount of time. If you didn't get in a certain amount of time, guess what? It's too late.
Too late.
See, now, and this is what I meant about the future. I tell the current players, because we talk to the current players, I tell them, hey guys, your semen is still wet. You get to decide what's going to be in there. Will it be regrets? Or will it be you gave it everything you had? Does that mean you're going to play 14? How many did you play?
17.
17? May not. But if you played 2 and gave it everything you had, something in you is going to say, well done.
Well done.
Because you gave it everything you had.
Well done. Ain't nothing perfect ever about nobody that walks on this earth. So how do we identify that? We identify it by the things that he was willing to push through adversity. Adversity. Some say it defines character. I say adversity has a very unique way of teaching you how to pick your chin up and get back up and let's do it all over again. I can't stay down too long. I had 3 other brothers and sisters, four others up under me. I'm 10 years old. My mom walks up to me and said, I don't have time for you to be a child. Wow. I need to teach you everything that a man does and everything that a woman does. I need to teach you how to cook, clean, fold, braid, plait, everything. I need to teach you how to do everything. Then I started latching on, because I didn't have a father, I started latching on to my uncles. One of my uncles right here, who's sitting here, and I won't get emotional because I do get emotional. Because those moments, he knows. But that's what we have to do when you talk about greatness. Greatness is a lot of small things done well. Greatness is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, stack them on top of each other. And just when you think you finished, you got to start all over again. I'm on what they call blind faith. And that's what my passions are now. It's to recreate the man. It's to recreate the communities. It's to partner with people that really got a vision. Ben's story alone. The things that you have to endure, the people that we have to lose. There's no lose in God's eyes. I don't get into whatever your religion is. But I do understand that Jehovah is real. I understand that part. And I understand there's not one mistake he's ever made. Because he don't make mistakes. So everything has a pedestal to it. Right. Everything has a next step to it. Everything has a divine purpose to it. And it's all for every person that's sitting in his destiny. So the question is as simple as you make it. What will your destiny be? What will your legacy be at the end of the day? I don't care how much money we ever make. Right. I don't care how much money you ever make. Your greatest impact will be how many lives you actually changed.
Legacy is all about taking things from the past, the lessons that are learned, and then it gets passed on to your generation as you hold these proverbial gold coins to then get passed on to the next. So tonight, what I would like for each and every single one of you to think about is your legacy and the impact you have on others based upon what you have learned before and what you plan to pass on to the next generation. Because the gold coins that these men have held in their hands is what makes them who they are deep inside of their hearts. I remember sitting right here at the Ritz-Carlton with Aeneas Williams, opening up to him about deep troubles that I was having in my life. You see, I have the opportunity to do some fun things in terms of my work. Get to be on some big fields, get to be in some big boardrooms, but the reality is I get knocked down all the time, and our ability, our success is the people we surround ourselves with who give us the strength to get up when we get knocked down. And I was pouring my heart into Aeneas, asking him for help. And I remember we started talking about my mother. And my mother passed 11 days before my 8th birthday. And I remember I said the words to Aeneas, because my mother is my fuel, that's my purpose, my passion every single day to keep fighting. That's the legacy, the paternal side, those gold coins, and my mother and how she fought when she battled a rare disease. And I said to Aeneas, we sat there, and we're having coffee, and I said, Aeneas, I said, my mother lost her fight with amyloidosis on November 2nd, 1986. And Aeneas looked at me and he said, brother, he said, I'm going to put this in football terms for you because I'm a football player. He said, your mother never lost a fight. He said, on November 2nd, 1986, your mother took the proverbial football of her life and she passed it on to you to keep writing your story. Those words are with me more than you know, Aeneas. These deck of cards have a special symbolism about the fight of life. I mentioned to you I had morning workouts. I would wake up, pound on my chest, watching Ray. Effort is between you and you. Every time I hear you say the word passion, my heart starts beating faster. There's a certain way when you say passion, you said it this morning. And once again, we could talk about Ray Lewis, two-time Super Bowl champion, MVP of the Super Bowl, the greatest linebacker to ever play the game. But it is the man behind what he accomplished on that football field that makes him so special. It's the fire that he has in his heart that makes him so special. There's a special guest that I have here tonight. His name is Will Compton. Just finished his third year with the Washington Redskins. I've mentored him for years. He's become like a little brother to me. And what I witnessed in the Cigar Club was all you guys need to know about who that man Ray Lewis is. They had the opportunity to meet, and it was in 3 minutes. And Ray goes over to his spot. They had said hello, and Will was sitting down by himself. And then all of a sudden, Ray walks over, and he gets right in Will's face, and he started to mentor Will. That is what life is all about. When I think of my great-grandfather holding up those shoes so that I could have the opportunity to be with all of you, when you think of your families and your stories and what makes you unique and the lessons that have made you who you are, that is what I think about in terms of what is possible for you in your life.